Hello, welcome back to SMHR Heads podcast. I'm Samuel Liao, your British host, direct from, what's the city in London? Oh, London.
Oh, what?
London, UK, and so make sure to follow us on our social media down below. Leave us a listener's message at 484-519-0007. That's from the UK, and leave a listener message, and you may be featured in a future episode. And we are still working on the WeChat, but we might be done by the time this comes out.
Maybe.
All right. Today's topic is, I actually don't know because I just flew in, you know. What is the question for today?
You make me want to talk in a British accent. Like, I feel like I should like.
Come on.
Yeah, this is the...
Do you just want to do the whole podcast?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Sure.
I was gonna say Spain. I didn't realize that was.
It's the country down there in Spain.
Alright. We can just talk about like colours and perception.
Colours and perception. What
I do know that they spell colours differently.
Colours.
Oh yeah, they do.
The O-U-R.
I have a whole rant on Canada and how they spell colour like the British way, and that's really wrong because they're in North America. They should be spelling it like we do
Like
in the
Americans.
US.
Wait,
yes.
I actually like spelling it like that.
What? It's wasting extra ink.
I don't know.
It every time.
It just makes me feel posh.
Okay.
I feel cool.
Hashtag
Like high
posh. If you're a British person watching our video, leave a
Posh
comment
Lake.
down below.
If you're
Hashtag
from
posh life.
Lake.
Oh, posh lake.
Lake, posh life, and posh lake. Driving a posh car. Porsche.
Porsche.
Alright, we're getting super off.
Yeah,
It's alright.
Okay.
Okay, colours and perceptions.
Yes.
Now, recently, one of our colleagues asked us whether if the colour black did not exist.
I happen
That
to
was
be
the
a colleague.
Yeah, he happened to be a colleague, actually. Okay.
Well,
What I think. Oh, I feel weird not talking in an accent now. What I think.
alright.
What I think is that it would just be weird because I associate black with like darkness. So like, if I'm trying to go to bed, my room has to be completely black. So like, would it just not be black? Like, would it be like brown or would it be like white?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't even think of that. Like, shadows, are they black? Or are they just absence of light?
absence of light.
Right.
So if it was absence of light would just be black, so black would become color anyway. Like we'd be like, oh, when all
What
the
if-
lights are off and it's dark, it's black.
What if it just doesn't exist though? Like to me, my main question is like what would emo people wear?
Okay.
Because the reasoning behind this is like a lot of times colors are associated with like feelings, right? So if a certain color didn't exist, would also like a feeling not exist, or like how would that work? Or like I don't really know what I'm getting with this.
I mean,
but-
colors don't result in feelings. They can just sometimes cause emotions. So I don't think that like I can only be happy if I'm wearing yellow. You know,
Right.
I don't
True.
think. Yeah.
So they're a reflection of your inside? Like,
I mean-
so the color represents your feelings, not your feelings are affected by the color.
No. I mean.
Those are-
Well, it's weird talking a lot in this because usually with like all six of us,
Right.
I don't
Actually,
get to
I'm
talk that much.
talk.
I know. I feel like I'm rambling a lot, but I feel like it's more like it influences how you feel, but it doesn't like change how you feel. Yeah.
That's a good point.
But how do colors influence that?
Oh,
Like, that's
true.
so weird.
Why is yellow happy and why is
I don't know.
green disgust, like in the movie Inside
Is
Out?
it how?
Yeah.
Like, cause it's what, like shorter or longer wavelengths, right?
Yeah, it's just
Whoa.
wavelengths.
Yeah, but that's somehow, like how your eye perceives
Yeah.
that somehow changes how you feel.
I think it's different for people too. Like maybe they'll associate with something like, what if someone really loves the ocean and like the ocean just calms them? Maybe they're like, oh, every time I see blue, it just makes me feel calm.
Right.
Or what if someone's super scared of like the ocean and they want to like get away from it, and when they see dark blue, they might be like, oh, that's so scary. I don't want that.
Oh, like dark blue represents like depths and,
Yeah. I don't
and
know.
scary stuff. Oh man, I can see that. Yeah, I know. Even in some cultures, they see colors differently. So like in Vietnamese, they have a word. I forgot how to say that word, but the word it's equivalent to the Chinese word "qing," And in Chinese, qing, in Old Chinese or Classical Chinese, qing could mean blue or green, because in Vietnamese, they think of blue and green as shades of the same color, which is like really hard to see for us, because we grew up with them very different.
Yeah, but I can kind of see that, because there's like turquoisey, green, blue.
Right, there's turquoisey.
Let's say someone's from Vietnam and they moved to like the United States. Would it be hard for them to understand that there's another color? Like, would it? I don't know.
Right, I think it's like how we see orange, red, and orange as like orange.
Yeah.
But some culture might like divide that.
But then my question would be like, because you said they saw green and blue as
Like the shades of different colors.
Yeah. Shades of the same color.
Yes, same color.
Yeah. So like, then I would ask like, at which point would a color be considered a different color as to a shade of another color?
Oh.
Because like we can tell if like because for us blue and green are different.
Like for example, look at Gilbert. It looks like orange and yellow, but that could literally be the same color, like just really dark yellow.
Yeah.
Or like, you know?
Yeah. What if only one color exists?
And it's just like the darkest. You know?
Everything's just black, but different shades.
Yeah, like light black, medium black.
Light black. Every color just called black. It's a light black. Light black.
Okay, but I also saw this documentary, or I think my Chinese teacher showed it to me. I don't remember. It was some Asian country, maybe Vietnam, maybe Japan. Or something.
Okay.
I feel like it's not Chinese because I thought it was Chinese at first, but now that I think about it, it's the word should doesn't exist.
Should?
In Chinese?
Could, would, not Chinese, because isn't it like Inga?
Yeah.
It's like some Asian country.
Yeah.
It's like should doesn't exist, so no one ever talks about what they should have done. It just never. So when they moved to America and she learned English and stuff, it was really hard for her parents to understand should and would.
Right.
Because they were just like, no, either you do it or you don't. It's not you should, you wouldn't, you could.
Okay.
I saw it in a TED video, I think.
That's cool.
Is that in Spanish?
Debo.
Yeah.
Debo. I think
it's would.
Country.
The Western nation. That's the conditional tense. So it's like you would say like.
So it does exist.
Yeah. Verbs ending
Might have been like Vietnam or something. I don't know. I can find a TED video.
With my limited
link it down below or something.
Yeah.
There's people with no regrets.
Yeah, they're like very black and white about things, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
And it affects how like the language and the
she was saying how it affected how she thought. Because
right.
when she went to America, she was like, oh, if I really want to do it, I could do it. But in China, it's like, you did do it.
Right? Yeah.
Or not China, sorry, whatever country it was. Like, you did do it. Or you did do it. It's like, there's no...
Yeah, that's so weird.
That makes you a very like absolute person in general compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah. It's so weird how like the language, just the language itself, it changes how you think.
I love
like when you learn a language, like it's a different way of thinking.
Yes.
Like beyond the culture, just the language itself. That's just so weird.
Yeah.
Like
the words.
I know. Okay, and we are going to take our sploosh break, and we just talked about languages. What coincidence, I'm doing a British accent. So call in 484-519-0077 if you would like to input, or leave it in the comment down below. Follow our social media, which is in the description. This is Eric, this is Bethany, I'm Samuel, signing out for now. Flap, flap, flap. Welcome back. It's the same thing.
Alright. Welcome back from our sploosh break and... Wait, what?
We're back from our sploosh break.
I just realized last time, why did we introduce the number again? Because we were saying at the beginning of the video.
I don't know, I'm hosting.
We were like okay,
all the
information.
information.
We already did that at the beginning of the video.
In case you forgot, or some of our viewers have Alzheimer's,
hi guys,
I feel.
welcome back from our sploosh break.
Yeah.
We're going to continue our talk.
Alright.
Yay.
So, we were talking about languages. I was curious, what languages do you guys know or are interested in? Let's start with Eric.
Well, I know English.
What?
I know
really same.
Australian, Canadian.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, that's cool.
My Chinese is okay. My Spanish is okay.
I see.
That's about it.
Right. So you like me grew up with Chinese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Chinese households.
Did you learn Chinese or English first?
Chinese.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
I learned Chinese first.
Yeah.
I learned Cantonese first.
You learned
Cantonese?
Cantonese first, like growing
But I forgot it all, so I don't know.
Really?
Hey.
Yeah.
So,
16 was sick.
How about you, Sam?
I-
We
yeah,
already
tell
talked
us
about
about
this
yourself,
Okay.
Sam.
in episode either 2 or 3. You already talked about your language.
Right.
Yeah, that was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right, I did talk about it in the beginning. I'll say it again. I learned Chinese first, Mandarin, with a South Chinese variant. So like instead of like, you know, in Chinese there's the shi and then there's the si sound.
I
And
use
they're
it.
completely different, right? And so like anyone from South China will pronounce all of the sh's as si. So like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, 4 is 4, 10 is 10. But anyone from South China will be like 4, 4, 10. And like, that just sounds normal. Wait, you guys don't do that?
I don't know.
No?
My
Okay.
dad is from Taiwan, my mom's from Macau, so I don't know what Chinese I
Your
know.
mom's from
It's just
Macau,
different.
but-
Yeah, it's just different than like how my teacher talks, says like speaks Chinese. So I don't know.
Right, yeah. Where's your teacher from? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Not
Not
Macau
Taiwan.
or Taiwan.
Yeah.
I didn't know your dad was from Taiwan.
Yeah, he was born there and he moved to America when he was 4.
When he was 4? Oh.
So he didn't know Chinese.
Oh,
So he learned
okay.
Chinese in college.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Her dad's actually really amazing. And that like
I
learned
know.
Chinese from scratch and like studied it hardcore and now is proficient in it. And I keep fanning myself because it's hot.
Yeah.
It's
I was gonna
real
mention
toast.
that.
Like South China. But
like
yeah. And then Spanish. Eric, you said you learned Spanish in school.
Yeah.
Why did you pick Spanish and not Chinese or French?
or sign language.
Or ASL?
Yeah.
ASL.
Well, I picked Spanish because of Mexico. Because we have a Mexico missions trip twice a year, and I started going in like 7th grade, and so that was before I went into high school. And I was like, so when I got into high school and I could learn Spanish, I was like, all right, time to learn Spanish so I can actually talk to these people. So yeah, that's why I picked Spanish.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. I kind of wish I learned Spanish now, because when I was at Mexico, but I can't, because it's too late. I already
Yeah.
It's
But
never too late.
I mean,
I would have to do like Duolingo or something.
Yeah,
But,
Duolingo.
but yeah, when I went to Mexico from Mexico missions, I felt like I couldn't really talk to people. Like I kind of could, because there was still
Right.
like, I mean, even though there's a barrier, it was still like fun, and I could still like communicate with them. But I feel like it would have been way better if I could talk to them. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say like I know what it's like not going or not going and not knowing the language, because I went in 7th grade and at that point I had no experience in Spanish, so I don't remember much, but I know like I was really like cut off. I felt pretty cut off to the kids, you know, because they
Yeah.
can totally ignore what you're saying. Because they're like, they try to talk to you, and then you're like, huh? And then they're just like, never mind, and then they go off and do their own thing. They feel like they have this power over you. But then when you speak Spanish, they're like, oh shoot, I have to
listen to this dude.
They can't like say stuff behind your back.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
who's that dude over there?
I mean, they still do.
No, they don't say stuff behind your back. They just straight up call you.
They
names and
straight
stuff.
up call you that. Yeah. That's one thing I love about Mexican Spanish. There's a lot of like fun slang and a lot of things that, even though I know Spanish and I feel like I can understand it good enough, like Mexican Spanish is like is its own language that like they half the things they're saying is like all slang, and then you're like, what? And then you talk to adults who don't use slang and you're like, oh yeah, I know Spanish.
And they use like infinitives, right? Instead of actually conjugating.
That was cool. The first time I went, that like when you learn Spanish in school, or when you learn any language in school, they like make sure grammar is like number one. Like you gotta know your grammar, you gotta know your vocab, and they drill you on the grammar to be perfect, every little like accent. But then when you go over to like Mexico Mission and they're like more impoverished, and their education isn't that great, unfortunately. That when they speak, they just use the infinitive of all the words. So in English, an example would be like, you want swim, or you want drink, like that, instead of like,
Do you
or like,
want to have
yeah,
a drink? Do you
yeah.
want-
Yesterday I go store, something like that.
Oh.
And then like I remember hearing it, I was like, oh yeah, I guess they haven't
But what
learned
if
it
they're
like that.
right and you're just wrong, your teacher's just wrong?
That's
they're
a
like
good
Could say it
real-
like that.
You can say it like that, because technically, I remember reading this book in elementary school. It's called Frindle. It's about how this guy makes up a new word called Frindle for pen, and starts using it and convinces everyone that
Huh.
that's the right word. And it's about how language is based on what people say. What the people say is right. So like language
And
changes over
they're the people
time.
who like actually use that language,
Right.
so they're more right
They're-
than like someone who's just learning it in school.
Right. Or it's like what's accepted
Huh.
rather than there's always a rule like is ain't correct or is gonna be correct in the next few years. It's already in the dictionary.
Really?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I
Like
remember.
in
Wait, did anyone do those like vocab tests in like 3rd grade where it was like correct the sentence? You're gonna eat food, and you have to change gonna to going to.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then
I remember
you're
that.
like
Probably too.
the R-E instead of like the Y-O-U-R.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like, yeah, I always have to
I
change
remember
gonna
that, yeah,
to
yeah.
going to.
So in school they teach you what's called like standard proper English, and then like there's rules for English, and you learn those rules, but then when you speak it, it gets shortened, and everything like you kind of ignore the rules, or there's different rules for spoken English.
Yeah, what are some like social rules though for like spoken English there? Do you think
Social rules?
like
For-
saying please and thank you or like
Like for here or for
here?
for here, like I guess depending on where you are, like in the South,
Mhm.
yes ma'am and yes sir
Yeah.
are required. That's so cool. I think we should bring that here.
Wait, really?
What? I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Oh,
Makes
I
me
had
feel like
no idea.
Like here, if you
in the books I read from the South, it's like
Right.
yes ma'am.
yes ma'am, yes sir, and
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
that. Yeah, if you watch
Yeah.
modern Southern videos, shout out to this channel called It's a Southern Thing, where I learned so much about Southern culture. That's
What?
a cool channel. Look it up. They use yes sir, yes ma'am. If they're older than you, you're gonna call them sir, ma'am, and it's like they say like, oh yeah, like kids these days don't respect their elders anymore.
Respect your elder.
Yeah, and kids from
Well,
the South,
like
you know.
also like I feel like Asians they say auntie and uncle.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Asian
like,
churches.
yeah.
And then you see you go to the English side. Oh yeah, just call me Thomas. I'm like,
Yeah. It's like oh.
that
Oh yeah, I never call him Uncle Thomas.
Yeah, I mean you don't.
Really, I do.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I call him Thomas when I'm talking to him, but I call him Leader Thomas or like
Leader
Worship Bruce.
Thomas.
Yeah, because he's not old enough to be uncle, but he's not a youth. You know, he's not
Wait.
the same age as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, we can cut this out. But when Eric Fang was like, "Bye, Davy," to my dad, I could feel my dad be like,
Wait, really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He didn't say uncle. We can cut this out,
Just flip out the name, but
but yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just a cultural thing. Like some like of my friends, like they're white, and their mom's like, "Oh no, don't call me like Mrs. Just say my name."
And you're like,
Say my name. Say my name.
you're like, that doesn't sound
Yeah,
right.
it's weird.
It's like disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's less, like here in America, there's less of that like respect, like in their culture.
Especially the West Coast, yeah.
Yeah, it's more like casual and I mean it's good like in terms of like you can be friendly with people.
Yeah, I saw this one thing online. It was like, "Thank you so much."
Auntie Carol, thank you for hosting.
Sure. Have some berries.
Alright,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Snack
Don't
break.
yet.
Comment snacks if you made it so far.
Alright.
What was I
What were you
saying?
saying?
We're talking about how in Western culture, like being casual
Yeah.
is cooler, but you also lose like, does it lose respect? Yeah.
Oh, I just saw this one thing. It was like I remember me and my friends were talking about it. It's like the mom's like, "Oh, we just want to be like best friends. That's why they call me by my first name," you know? But I feel like for like some other cultures, it's more like you respect your parents instead of being like friends with them.
Right.
They're like authority instead of like
Right.
best friends, you know? But
I like that. Like some ways, like I fist bump my mom and dad, and they're like they're
Yeah,
really
you
happy.
fist bump my parents.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
oh,
really
it makes them happy. And
Yeah, I don't think of them as friends because you know you respect your parents and they have authority over you for good reason, and that makes you a good human being in some ways. Like you learn how to like
Respect
obey in society, yeah, and respect other people's authority. But in ways, it's like it's really cute to see them like. Is cute the right word? It's really like nice to see them like open up and be friendly.
Like at Mexico missions, Sam was like, "Oh, Auntie Elsa," and she's like, "Oh," and she was like surprised but happy.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was like, "Oh." But yeah.
Language is such a big topic, and I'm studying linguistics, and I could talk about this for hours, and it's so great. But thank you for joining us for SMH Our Heads. And
tune in next week.
For another episode. Follow our social media and
shout out to iHeartRadio. Please download the app and listen to our podcast on it.
Ooh, that's
Wait, we're on
spicy.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah, we are,
Yeah.
but TuneIn Radio.
TuneIn Radio also.
Also
because
TuneIn Radio.
That's
also
an important
Podbean.
one. Podbean.
Podbean.
Shout out to our 3 followers.
Woo.
Bye.
Podbean.
So,
All right.
We appreciate it.
Bye. Sign off for now.